patients in the expanded access program had metastatic and progressive disease. The majority of patients in the compassionate use program received SM-88 as a monotherapy. However, there were some patients that received SM-88 in combination with other anti-cancer therapies such as chemotherapy and/or radiation. But this typically meant that these patients were continuing a drug from the last regimen and due to disease progression looking for alternative treatments. For example, in breast cancer, some patients were kept on aromatase inhibitors or hormonal agents because physicians felt stopping these could accelerate the cancer growth, as these patients were progressing on current therapies upon starting SM-88 treatment. Now, key takeaways here are that through these two programs, we saw confirmed responses in 15 different cancer types, including complete and partial responses in breast cancer. This, in our view, was an impressive result which supported the rationale for current clinical development. Now, with this background, let's go through our programs in more depth. Starting with our work in breast cancer. As I mentioned at the start of the call, we've enrolled the first patient in our OASIS trial. The study is being conducted by Georgetown University at its 5 MedStar Health hospitals. MedStar Health is Georgetown's academic clinical partner, and we're excited to be collaborating with them on such an important study. By way of background, OASIS is an open-label phase 2 trial examining SM-88 with methoxsalen, phenytoin, and sirolimus, or MPS, in patients with metastatic hormonal positive and HER2-negative advanced breast cancer who have received 2 prior hormonal therapies and failed or progressed after receiving a CDK4/6 inhibitor agent. The primary endpoint of the trial is overall response rate. We are particularly excited about the opportunity because of the promising anti-tumor activity previously observed in this setting, especially in HR-positive, HER2-negative patients, which account for approximately 73% of the breast cancer diagnoses in the U.S. As a reminder, in this setting we saw an impressive result with complete responses and partial responses in the 2 studies I just discussed. We believe if we can reproduce this type of result in the current OASIS trial, that it could be incredibly impactful for TYME and these patients. Turning now to the Precision Promise trial, where oral SM-88 is being studied as a monotherapy in the second-line setting in advanced metastatic pancreatic cancer. The trial is designed as a seamless phase 2/3 randomized adaptive trial that is sponsored by the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, or PanCAN. PanCAN is a well-known organization and a globally recognized leader in advocacy for pancreatic cancer patients. Important to note, this study is considered by the FDA as a pivotal phase 3 study that will evaluate the effect of oral SM-88 in all 175 patients scheduled to be treated in this study. This adaptive randomized platform trial evaluates oral SM-88 in 2 stages. In the first stage, up to 100 patients are enrolled and treated with oral SM-88, at which point a formal evaluation of efficacy and tolerability is determined by an independent statistical review in order to proceed to stage 2. If the current enrollment metrics we are experiencing are sustained, we believe enrollment completion and determination of the first stage review will occur by the second half of calendar year 2022. Now, if SM-88 clears the first stage review of 100 patients, the next 75 patients enrolled would then be treated to confirm the initial efficacy and tolerability results from stage 1. If SM-88 clears both efficacy reviews from stage 1 and stage 2, TYME anticipates utilizing these results to support an NDA application for approval in this setting. So again, the Precision Promise trial began with 15 clinical sites. They include premier pancreatic cancer treatment sites across the United States. As previously mentioned, PanCAN is working to double the number of sites in the U.S. to 30 by the end of calendar year 2022, which we believe will play a significant role in helping expedite further enrollment. Moving on to our work in sarcomas, which represent an array of different cancers with few effective treatment options, and therefore a high unmet need. As you may recall, for the HOPE study, we partnered with the Joseph Ahmad Foundation, who is sponsoring the trial, and the Sarcoma Oncology Research Center in California. Safety and quality of life are essential to these sarcoma patients. And clinically, physicians are seeking to extend the time until disease progression while maintaining the patient's quality of life. The early efficacy signals for our phase 2 HOPE study are encouraging. So far, interim clinical data supports the well-tolerated profile of SM-88, and we found several examples of extended treatment durations in patients with advanced sarcomas and/or Ewing sarcomas, meaning these patients were able to stay on SM-88 significantly longer than prior therapies. And I stated earlier, we're targeting the completion of enrollment by the first half of calendar year 2022. To date, the company has focused on 3 areas, which we just reviewed: breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, and sarcomas. But SM-88 has the potential to expand to other indications, especially as it's shown confirmed responses in 15 different cancer types during our first in-human trial. Now, through our biomarker research, we aim to identify other areas of expansion where SM-88 produces a significant preclinical efficacy response, and we're actively investing in the work to deepen our understanding of its possibilities. For this initiative, which we believe has the potential to produce critical insights, we will be partnering with several well-known organizations in preeminent medical institutions, including Georgetown University, NYU Medical Center, the Mayo Clinic, and Evotec. These studies have the potential to yield valuable and new insights to move forward on the path of precision medicine by identifying targeted subpopulations of patients. We plan to use the data to guide our future clinical development in a more effective manner. This is truly an exciting area of exploration, and we look forward to sharing our findings as information emerges. Switching gears a bit, a quick update on other initiatives beyond our cancer therapeutic programs, which we're very excited about. We're in the early stages of attempting to develop a tumor targeting technology, which combines our patented tyrosine analogs to a second therapeutic agent to create a fusion compound. When that occurs, we believe it could allow for a novel approach in the targeted delivery of a toxic therapeutic agent with specificity to cancer cells while showing a tolerability profile similar to what we are currently experiencing with SM-88. We'll also continue to invest preclinically to further advance our understanding of the potential utility of TYME-19, a bile acid program for the treatment of COVID-19. From an intellectual property standpoint, we have over 200 patent applications pending and granted globally, which we believe gives TYME strong coverage on our pipeline. All in, we have a robust and diverse pipeline in various stages of development that are protected by a robust IP estate. We will continue to drive forward our clinical programs while deepening our understanding of the potential of SM-88. With ample cash on hand and an experienced management team in place, we believe the company is well positioned to successfully execute on our initiatives. Now, I'll turn the call over to Frank for a detailed financial review of the quarter and our outlook. Frank?
Thank you, Richie, and good morning, everyone. As Richie noted, we believe we are well capitalized to advance our preclinical and clinical development programs. Based on our current operating plan, we project our cash balance and investments will be sufficient to fund us for at least 36 months. We closed the second quarter of fiscal year 2022 with $96.6 million in cash equivalents, and marketable securities. Our operational cash burn rate for the second quarter was $5 million compared to $6.6 million in Q2 of fiscal year 2021. The decrease of $1.6 million was due to lower ongoing trial costs, primarily due to the discontinued TYME PANC third-line metastatic pancreatic cancer trial. As our initiatives ramp up, we expect our quarterly operational cash burn for the remaining 2 quarters of the fiscal year to be in the range of $6 to $8 million. For the second quarter of 2022, we reported a net loss of $5.6 million, or a loss of 3 cents per share, and the net loss for the 6 months of 2022 was $11.5 million, or a loss of 7 cents per share. This compares to a net loss of approximately $6.8 million, or a loss of 5 cents per share for the second quarter of 2021, and $15.7 million, or a loss of 12 cents per share for the first 6 months of 2021. The decrease in losses of $1.2 million for the current 3-month period is largely due to lower clinical trial costs, predominantly the decrease in 88 PANC costs. The decrease in losses of $4.2 million for the current 6-month period is due to the favorable net variance of $2.3 million related to non-cash related expenses, such as the change in fair value of the warrant liability and stock-based compensation expense, as well as $1.9 million related to decreased operating costs, primarily due to lower ongoing trial expenses. I'll now turn the call back to Richie for his closing comments, and we'll then open it up to your questions.
Thanks, Frank. So as you've heard today, we have a well-defined plan and the means to execute on our plan to advance our pipeline. We're addressing large market opportunities with differentiated therapies in areas with limited or no options for patients. A diversified pipeline continues to garner interest from premier institutions, and TYME has assembled an experienced team to develop these compounds. We strive to make a difference in the lives of people, and we endeavor to help and reward the stakeholders who give us the ability to do just that. We believe if just one of our many programs in development is successful, it will have a meaningful impact on a company of our size. And with that, I'll open up the call to your questions. Operator, please proceed.
Thank you. To ask a question, you will need to press star then 1 on your telephone. To withdraw your question, please press the pound key. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. Again, that is star then 1 if you would like to ask a question. There are no questions at this time. I will now turn the call back to Mr. Cunningham for closing remarks.
Thank you, Sarah. As we've shared with you today, we're making important progress in our ongoing trials as well as inroads with our preclinical work. We look forward to updating you next quarter, and we thank you for your time today. Stay safe, everyone, and thanks again.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's conference call.